Again. It's okay. We're live, yeah? Hello, and welcome to another live session. Guys, if you've got questions on Dubai real estate or life in general, I'm going to be happy to answer, right? So if you're on Instagram or YouTube or, I don't know, WhatsApp, any other app, happy to answer any of the questions that you might have. I want to welcome everybody who's here on Instagram, on YouTube. I can't see your name, so if you don't mind saying hi and hello in the in that section, then that'll be good. Harish Naveed, hello. Mohammed Turab, Wael Atwa, Bilal Malik, Hiranya, Abhishek Atwal, Craig Jones, Jabi, Satnam Singh, Numan Work, Akram Work. Hey, welcome everybody. Hi, how are you? Rami, how are you? Russell's Sanuzubi. Okay. Welcome to everybody who's here on Instagram. Welcome everybody on YouTube. You've got real estate questions. Hey, specifically Dubai real estate. Put them across to me. Okay. I've got a bunch of questions that I want to answer as well. And let's start with the basics first. Oh, hey, we didn't have the mic close to you. Hello. Hi. I think they could still hear me. How are you, men? Okay. Yeah, I knew something was missing. Yeah, I forgot to put the mic to my face. All right, no worries. Jabi, Hamisi. Hey, how are you, man? I'm fine, man. How are you? Good morning to Satnam Dubai as well. Hey, how are you, brother? You guys all right? Okay, guys, my team wanted to discuss like some of the tools that we use. And some of the tools off the top of my head that we use when we come to real estate is, I think data is I think data is critical. And there's a lot of places that you can get data from. So you get it from DXP Interact, you get it from Property Finder, you get it from your youth. But one of the things that I'm going to correct everybody and I'm going to advise you on is, guys, regardless of the data you get. So if you get all the deals that have been made, if you get Property Finder explaining to you what is current listings available, you've got to still figure out Abdullah Butheri, I think that's how the name's spelled. Hi, hello on YouTube. You still got to interpret the data, okay? Now I'm going to give you an example. So this was 2 years ago. A deal was happening and we looked at an apartment in downtown Dubai, very close to Burj Khalifa. Great deal available. And we thought, okay, let's just purchase it, okay? But when we looked at the data, it showed us that the deal was priced at 2,300 dirhams per square foot. Now, the way you calculate per square foot is you take the apartment size and you take the apartment price or the property price and you divide it by the size. You take the price and divide it by the price that's being asked for. Price divided by the size. So yeah, so that was 2,300 dirhams per square foot. And just for the uninitiated, the guys who don't perhaps understand this completely, per square foot, why we look at per square foot price is because we look at how much was per square foot required by the developer to build this property. So what goes into a property? The land, the construction material, the workmanship, the oversight, the marketing, the sales, the project management, all of that combined together when divided by the area of what you've built gives the developer a per square foot price that they sell it at. So if it costs them about 800 dirhams per square foot to build, they might sell it to you for 1,400 dirhams per square foot or 1,500 dirhams or 1,300. Their profit might be double or 30% more or 20% more. It just depends to area, which is why sometimes you've got to recognize that why this is one of the reasons why price is different in different areas. Why? Because a plot of land in downtown Dubai is going to cost completely differently. The workmanship and the materials that you put in that plot of land is going to cost you completely differently, right? Does that make sense? Okay. So you've got to understand per square foot price. So this transaction, while I can tell you about tools to use, DXP Interact, they've got a good app as well, or Property Finder, or Bayut, or Dubizzle, you've got to know how to interpret the data. So if you look at per square foot price, and this is what we saw in one of these transactions, what we were buying was 2,300 dirhams per square foot, but Actual transactional data for the area was 1600, 1700 dirhams per square foot back in the day. So this is a time a while ago. So we ended up then, as I've told you, we ended up actually not doing this deal and finding the buyer a better transaction. Okay, everybody here who's saying hello, hello. While Ata asks, should we go for old buildings? The prices are very low compared to the new ones. Okay. Satnam, all well, brothers. Zarmeen, salams. Good day. Everybody who's joined. Glamour, Sayyid Nawaz, Khalid Yadav, Ajmal Farooq, Vard, AJ Jimmy, Sayyid Imran. Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam. All right, guys. Everybody who's here. Her name is Gab, Haley, Bertham, Aglam, Abid. Hey, guys, welcome. Abdul Yashrabi. Hello, how are you? Ramadan Mubarak to you. All right, guys, check this out, okay? Somebody has asked a question. So before I take on the other questions, I want to answer this question. Somebody's saying, hey, what do you think about buying in? So this is While Atwa asks. While asks, should we go for old buildings? The prices are very low compared to the new ones. Okay, so step back first. Answer this question. Why are the prices low in the older buildings? Does it have something to do with their demand by the buyers? And what affects demand by the buyers, right? If a building's old, what's generally the status in Dubai, okay? Now, you've got to recognize, then I recognize this, okay? I was born in Dubai. I was born and raised in Dubai, and I can tell you, most of the older buildings built in the 80s and 90s had much better, this is my personal opinion only, I feel they had much better construction quality than the buildings that were built in the freehold era of 2000 and beyond. Earlier 2000 till 2015 or 2013. And why I think is because the earlier buildings were built by the bigger landlords of Dubai, the Lutas, the Al Ghurairs, the Al Fataims, and so on and so forth. And they knew that the asset's going to remain with them for 30 years and they're going to rent it out. So I don't think, so they didn't cut a lot of corners. They put in quality because, you know, they've got the asset in their kitty for 30 years. Whereas sometimes when, you know, it's like, I don't know, when you're building an apartment, you're building something, you're going to say, hey, I'm only selling this on to somebody. You might not think about project number 2, project number 3. If people are given bad quality, what's going to end up happening is they're not going to want to buy again from you. But that's what unfortunately happened pre-2010. And this is not just deliberately cutting corners. Sometimes the absolute rush to deliver these projects required contractors to move fast and quality was compromised, okay? Now, when all of this comes together and you walk into that building, what do you see? Do you see that the roof of the corridor is leaking? Do you go in and do you see the security guard sitting on a torn chair? Do you see that the whole building smells of food? Nothing against food. Food is good. But that means poor ventilation in that building, right? Do you see the gym, the swimming pool, all of it run down? Now you understand why the prices are lower, right? Because those who then cannot afford the nicer, the cleaner, the more brand new are left with buying the older. And so on and so forth. Now, don't get me wrong, right? Not all old cars are cheap. There are Ferraris out there that are old, but they're $25 million because they're classics. So, it could happen that in the Dubai market, a building or project or an area could be an older project, but there's some classic value. There is some community value to it, so the price is not going to be low. But if the building is generally very low, or low price, then you've got to question why is it so, right? And then if your strategy says, I'm okay, I'll buy low because the rent is really good. And you've got to, I've heard this with somebody, this is not my quote, I heard it from somebody the other day, is wealthy people always buy in good locations, whereas mediocre people buy for cash flow and rental income in bad locations. Why? Because wealthy people are looking for capital appreciation. So if you buy in an older building and it's already smelly, stinky, bad, deteriorating, and you don't think it's going to get better, well, guess what's going to happen to your capital that you invest in there? You might get good rental income for a few years, but unless the market goes up like that, you're not going to get organic, regular capital appreciation. You're going to suffer on the other side when you're selling the property. Right? I hope this made sense. Well, I hope it makes sense. Raghavendra Pratap Singh Kittu. Okay, hello to you too. Who can I prepare myself to pass the RERA exam? Okay, Muhammad Tarab asks, how can? Two ways. Number one, go attend the course. Three, no, one, go to the course. Two, study. Three, become an assistant to an established real estate agent and start learning. Yeah, help them. Okay. How to focus now in real estate market with a new project and developer every week? Satnam Dubai. Good question. Okay, so you look like a person who's been in the market for a while, or I can not see your. Okay, I can see your face, and you look like somebody who's older than 30 years old. Okay, so I'm going to tell you how you do this. Okay, listen. This is today's revelation. Okay, you're not selling a property, guys. Understand this. You're really in the service business. You're there. Like, it's kind of like a restaurant. What makes a restaurant great? Food? Yes, okay, it's part of it. But that's just like the basic absolute minimum. There's a lot of other things that make that restaurant great. The experience, the servers, the friendliness, the niceness. Like, if you're into only the food and you're like, if the ambience has cockroaches running around or lizards falling into your food or from the rooftop and you don't care, you're probably not going to return to that restaurant again. So you've got to understand that when you're in the real estate property business, you're in the business beyond property. So who cares if there's a launch every week? Who cares? What you care about is your client, your customer. And again, most people in this business are in this business to quickly make money. Well, good for you. I got nothing against you. All the best. See you. Take care. Go ahead. So what you're thinking, if there's a launch every week, how can I sell that launch every week? Flip it around. How can you actually service your client every week? Right? So what do I mean by this? If your client, like, I'll give you a real example, real live example right now. The Valley was launched by Imar recently. Guess what? The price is 2.3 for a 3-bed, 2.7 for a 4-bed. So if you're looking to purchase in the Valley right now, you've got to really understand that the prices are a little bit on the higher side. So if you're looking to flip to make a profit in less than 1 or 2 years, as every other agent's telling you, buyer beware, because that community is not fully developed. So that uptake on the money isn't coming immediately, right? So you've got to understand your client. What's he looking for? Is he looking to make more money in a year or two? Is he looking for a home for his family, right? How you go? Like, if the guy is looking for a townhouse, who cares if there's a project launch every week? You're only going to talk to him about the townhouse when they get launched, right? Are you paying attention to him? Are you helping him? Do you want good for your client? Do you? Right? If you do, then it's not about every project that's getting launched. It's about, does this meet the client's need? And if you figure out a magical way to meet clients' needs every time, you win. All right. Who else is here? Sayyid Imran Ahmed. Investing in high-rise or low-rise building. Which should be the better thoughts as per the investment point and for the rental income? I think let's start with one thing, and I think it starts with personal preference. Some people like high-rise buildings. Some people like low-rise buildings, okay? It just happens to be, it starts with personal preference, okay? And both have pros and cons, okay? If it's a high-rise building by a good developer, what's going to happen? They're going to make sure that the elevators in that building. So let's talk about a high-rise building with a good developer. They make sure that there's adequate elevators to service all the floors in an adequate way, which means, I can tell you, one of the developers called Elite in Dubai Sports City, when they handed over an apartment, I think it was in Business Bay or Sports City, there were like 6 or 8 elevators. I don't even think it was 6. I think it was 8 elevators or 7 elevators plus one for service, which means that no matter almost what time you're going, wherever you're going during the day, whether it's morning, school hour, or rush hour, you're not going to be stuck, stranded, waiting for an elevator, right? So they know how many elevators to put in. They know how big the gym should be. They know how big the pool should be, so on and so forth. So if it's a high-rise tower by a good, reputable developer, they know how to manage the good, the bad, the ugly, and the challenges. So it's okay, no problem. Now, if you prefer low rise, then some people prefer low rise. They've got these phobias of, God forbid, what if a fire happens? Maybe they've got older parents living with them. Maybe they themselves have an injury. They want to be on the lower second floor, third floor. They don't want to be on the higher floor, right? So then low rise would work out, right? And both are okay from an investment perspective because the building in itself comes later. The community matters, the developer matters. Then comes the project and the building, where it's getting built, how it's getting built, what's the orientation, what's the facade, what's the floor plan, what's the average rental income in that area, so on and so forth, right? Okay, good. Javeed, welcome. Usama, Dubai Realtor, hello. Muazzam, Just Fawaz, the Realty. Hey, Usama, we are not in the real estate business. We are in the people business. Okay, that's correct. Yes, so good, right? Satnam DXP, very well explained my question. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm glad. Alhamdulillah. I'm happy that I was able to explain that with enthusiasm, and I'm glad that I got my point across to you. Biramio Official. Okay, so I don't see any questions on there. Guys, if you got questions on YouTube or if you got questions on Instagram, don't hesitate. Ask me. Sananaim 23, Ravel Zahur, everybody who's here. Hey guys, welcome. Biramio Official, Jam Zawar, welcome. Hey, can we take some questions? People who've asked. I've got a question about Nishama as well. Somebody asked me about this yesterday. So let's answer that as well, okay? It was on Instagram. I'm going to answer it now. Check this out, all right? Somebody asks, hey, hi Fahd, hello. This is user. Somebody from YouTube asks, I see some guys working in real estate without having RERA. I want to know, as I'm new here in Dubai and looking to carry on my career in there, as I'm doing it in Pakistan. You shouldn't work in real estate without RERA. You should be with a company that's put you on track to get your RERA exam done, okay? It's simple as that. You've got to do it, okay? Could you please provide me with your opinion on Icon City by Demac? I would like to know if it is a wise investment opportunity. Thank you for your time and consideration. So somebody's already answered that, and they said, nope, not at all, unless you're getting a resale below market price around 1,800 to 1,900 dirhams per square foot. Okay, so that's what I was going to say to you as well. So you wouldn't buy in Icon. Well, you could buy from the developer as well. There are some advantages to that. The deal is very easy. It's very simpler. You pay directly to the developer. If you're time short, you can do it very fast. But you've got to look at the per square foot price. I don't know the Icon project personally per se. It is a good location, okay? I would recommend that if you're buying in that project, buy on the higher side, like buy a bigger apartment. Don't buy the extremely squeezed smaller apartment. So for instance, if you're looking for a 2-bedroom investment and you can actually afford a 2-bedroom, don't buy the 900 square feet 2-bedroom. See if you can get the 1,100 square feet 2-bedroom, okay? Okay. So people have got all my questions. Okay, I'll answer these questions, guys, right now. So Satnam asks, what's your idea about Imar South and Dubai South? Good. It's going to take some time, but we're closer to that. We're closer. We're closer to that premium time, okay? Like, so I think I remember talking to somebody like 3-4 years ago, and they were like, yes, Dubai South, because Expo and Dubai World Central and Jabal Ali. And I told them, like, hey, okay, it'll take about 7 years for that community to come into its own. And the reality is, I've driven to those communities now maybe 3 or 4 times or 5 times. And now every time I drive there, I haven't done that recently, but every time I've done that, it becomes easier, right? It starts feeling less far out of Dubai. And I've now started hearing from people who said, hey, their friend lives in Dubai South and they like it. And they're like, yeah, they'd like to live there as well. So the point I'm trying to make is that, look, Dubai South, for whatever it's worth, is going to come into its own. It's just that time for it to come into its own, like that stage where it's like, trading at premiums and people are like, great, we would like to live there. I think it's much closer now, okay? It's not there yet, though. Mariam Hedge. Salam, I'm in the UK. It seems impossible to find a good property online. Any tips? That's correct. That's why we've got a program called the Dubai Wealth Builder Program, where we hold your hand every step of the way. We help you find the right property. What does looking for a property online from the UK look like? It's like you in the middle, and you've got everything being thrown at you from the sky or from Dubai real estate. It's kind of like confusing. It's overwhelming. It is what it is. It's kind of like if I was trying to buy a property in the UK and I was doing online work, online research, I would hire an expert advisor in the UK. I would pay them a retainer to help me buy the best property as long as I trust them and I know that they're willing to put in the time to guide me. Sayed Imran Ahmed asks, how do you rate the developer's quality? Damak, okay, good. Shoba, very good. Imar, good. Sometimes very good. Miras, okay, good. Etc. If you have any. Jahmud Aziz, everybody who's joined, Furry, Ikram, Mazin. All right, guys, listen, we're about to wrap this up. Everybody who's joined, everybody who's here. Umair Chaudhry asks a question. I want to become a realtor. I'm expecting no earning for the first 6 months being a realtor. Then what to do to earn meanwhile? I have investment of 30,000 dirhams. Well, okay, try to last your 30,000 dirhams. Listen, Umair, I've got to say this to you. Don't get in, like, yes, we always say this. I'm going to contradict myself. We say this to a lot of people. Hey, you're not going to get any money in the first 6 months. But it's not necessarily always true, right? Like, it didn't take me to do my first deals more than 3 months, right? More than a month for a rental, 3 months for a sale, and so on and so forth. Like, if you've got like basic information in life, you're basic street smart, you've got some business sense, you should be able to make some deals, okay? It's not an impossibility. It's not something that, oh my God, if you come in, you're never going to be able to do that. But, and then you're saying you've got 30,000 dirhams. Okay, so 30,000 dirhams is what it is, right? Try to last it. And I'm going to answer somebody's question over here. Somebody says, hi, I asked you the question about minimum budget. I wasn't asking about investment, but surviving in Dubai for 6 months as a real estate agent. Excuse me, guys. I'm curious about the budget you mentioned before has changed a lot. So I'm going to say this, like, look, guys, you could last in the Dubai market for 3,000 dirhams to 10,000 dirhams per month. And it all varies. Like, what's your lifestyle like? Like, and I'll be frank with you. Like, people who are trying to spend only 3,000 dirhams in Dubai, they'll probably live with other roommates, or they might live in Sharjah. It is what it is, right? With 10,000 dirhams, you could probably have your own place, so on and so forth. So it depends on what you're used to. So I'm saying about $1,000 to $3,000 is what you'll need to survive in Dubai. Like, $1,000 is really at the lower end, and $10,000, $5,000, or $3,000 to $4,000 would be at the little bit of a higher end, right? Does that make sense? Thoughts on Sports Danube? Okay, good. Look, Sports Danube's good. Is it good for you? I don't know. We can't tell. Like, if you really want us to help you customize and tailor make a solution for you and tell you if it's a good project for you, you've got to work with us in our advisory service. Like, we've got to really, really know if it's good for you, because maybe it's not good for you. Maybe you're under investing or under optimizing your capital. Okay. So a few other questions. Damac Hill, somebody asks, I don't know about what they said. They just put Damac Hills over there. So Damac Hills is good as a community, right? Okay, some questions from here. Somebody asked me about Nashama. Okay, guys, Nashama, you've got to understand, Nashama is a community that was built as a community, and that was built by, some say it was like the smaller brother of Imar, but I think there's a distinction and there's a complete separation and a segregation in Imar and Nashama. However, what did transpire is, first of all, Nashama was at the core planned as a community. Townhouses, villas, apartments, no villas, townhouses, apartments, co-working space. I don't think there's any commercial space there, but it'll come through. And the funny thing is, the first building that got handed over, Spinneys was right there, Starbucks was right there. Now, who is Spinneys also a tenant of? Emaar, Dubai Mall, actually not Dubai Mall, downtown, so on and so forth. So when Spinneys and Starbucks moves in so fast, you know that the developers got their ducks in line. Like, you know, to hand over a building and then have Spinneys in there fast, because Spinneys are generally premium shopping experience. Okay, their prices aren't the lowest, but they're good. They'll be there, they'll help you, they're good at customer service, so on and so forth. So when you get a Spinneys in there, yeah, you know that they know what they're doing, right? So Nishama on the whole is a very good community. It's very good. People live there. They like living there, so on and so forth. So you got to really think about it, right? Good. It's a good community, right? Hello, what about the gas bill? What about it? The tenant pays it or you pay it, okay? Somebody asked, with 500,000, this is an interesting question. Let's answer this question. Somebody asked, with 500,000 dirhams, is it possible to build a portfolio of 10 million dirhams in 15 to 20 years? Yes, it is. Okay, here's how you do it. With 500,000 dirhams, let's say you're exposing 500,000. So let's say we don't go wrong anywhere. Let's say all the investments make you money, but not great money immediately, but little money, slowly. And let's say you start with 500,000 dirhams. Okay, so now keep counting over here on my fingers. I'll keep counting here on my fingers. Okay, let's say you start with 500,000 dirhams as your first investment, and you take 2 years. Okay, 2 years to make 100,000. So you've made now 600,000 dirhams. So that's, let's just count here. So it's 2 years one time. Okay. Now you invest this 600,000 dirhams again, and how you do it is another story. But let's say you invested the way we asked you to do it, okay? Now after 2 years, you've got 800,000 dirhams in your pocket, okay? 2 years. I'm not saying overnight. I'm not saying 6 months. It took another 2 years. So you're 4 years now, okay? Now let's say you took that 800,000 and you invested it, followed our advice, and in another 2 years, you got 1.2 million dirhams. And then you took that 1.2 million dirhams and invested it again, took our advice, and another 2 years, you got 1.5 million dirhams. And then you invested that 1.5 million dirhams in the right projects, took our advice, and now you've got 2.5 million dirhams, okay? And then you took that 2.5 million dirhams. So this is 2 years, 2 years, 2 years, 2 years, 2 years. And now you got that 2.5 million dirhams, and you invested it again, and you've got now 4 million dirhams, okay? So it's 2 years by 6, so it's 12 years already. Now you take that 4 million dirhams and you invest it, and you've got 7 million dirhams in another 2 years, okay? So in about 14 years, you had 7 million dirhams. Now that 7 million dirhams can actually be multiplied, and you can go beyond 10 million dirhams in another 2 to 3 years. So let's say about 2 more years, okay? So you're at 16 years now. You got 10 million dirhams, but we'll add 2 more years for just, you know, things that might happen, ups and downs, right? Or let's say we add 4 years. Now you're at 20 years. And you can make that money, okay? Alright guys, I don't see any questions coming through. I am so grateful. Thank you very much for coming onto this live. Thank you. I bid you adieu. Guys, if you got questions, please put them through into the YouTube and Instagram comments. And for now, obviously, just, you know, if you want to work with us, you want somebody to actually help us, there's a WhatsApp number. Just note it, screenshot it now, and get in touch. Is that only on YouTube or Instagram as well? YouTube, right? Okay, that's on YouTube, but on Instagram, the number is, let me tell you the number again. It's 052 yeah, 052-208-5147. 052-208-5147. All right. Goodbye for now.